Happy and blessed New Year, 2026. As we step into 2026, I give thanks to God for the grace, strength, and protection that carried us through 2025. On behalf of AVAF Cameroon, I extend my deepest gratitude to our donors, partners, and communities whose trust, collaboration, and shared commitment made our progress possible. Together, we remain guided by a clear and unwavering vision to ensure that Africa's forests, land, soil, water, and air are sustainable, managed, and conserved for the well being of the present and future generations. This vision continues to shape our work, our partnerships, and our responsibility to those we serve. As we begin this new year, we pray for wisdom to steward resources with integrity, courage to pursue bold and exclusive solutions, and unity to strengthen community-led actions that delivers lasting impact. May our collective efforts in 2026 bear fruit, restoring ecosystems, uplifting communities, and honoring our shared responsibility to protect God's creation. In all our chaos, may we remember Jeremiah 29:11, which says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Thank you for walking this journey with us. May 2026 be a year of peace, purpose, and faithful service, with gratitude and hope. Lama, Avaf, Cameroon.
Welcome, friends, and welcome back to Conservation versus Society, where we explore stories, science, and faith for a changing planet. I'm grateful you're here with me today. This space is meant to feel like a quiet clearing in the forest, a place where we can slow down, breathe, and listen. Today's episode begins our first weekly theme: growth, confidence, and the quiet work happening beneath the surface. So settle in, grab some water, take a seat, meditate, let your shoulders drop, and let's begin. My name is Shaya, and I'm your host. On this journey through nature, reflection, and faith. To those returning, thank you for being a part of this growing community. To those joining for the first time, welcome. I'm glad you found your way here. This podcast exists to explore how our world is changing, how we can respond with compassion, and how stories, even fictional ones, can help us see ourselves and our planet more clearly. Today's story is about quiet growth, the kind we don't always notice, yet it shapes everything. The Seed Keeper of Lumi Valley. In a small valley called Lumi, there lived a young woman named Ariel. She wasn't known for strength or speed or brilliance, but she had something else, a gentle patience that the elders adored. Ariel was the valley's seed keeper. a role passed down through generations. Her job wasn't glamorous. She spent her days tending soil, sorting seeds, and preparing the soil long before planting season even arrived. Most people in Limi preferred the visible work: building, harvesting, crafting. Work that showed results. Work that made sense. But Ariel's work? It was invisible, quiet, slow. One year, the valley faced an unusual, harsh winter. Snow arrived early, and the ground froze before the farmers could even plant their late season crops. People panicked. They blamed the weather, they blamed each other, and some even blamed Ariel. Why didn't you prepare the field sooner? Why didn't you warn us? Why do we trust someone who works so slow? Ariel listened quietly. She felt the sting of their words, but she also knew something they didn't. Deep beneath the frozen ground, the seeds she had planted weeks earlier were still alive, still waiting, still preparing. When spring finally arrived, the valley braced for disappointment. But as the snow melted, tiny green saplings began to appear. First a few, then a dozen, then hundreds. The elders gathered around Ariel, surprised, confused. "How did you know?" they asked. Ariel smiled softly. "I didn't know. I simply trusted the process. And growth doesn't always show itself right away." That was the year, the first time in decades, that the valley had harvested one of its strongest, most resilient crops. All because of quiet work, done long before anyone was watching. Ariel's story reminds me of something we often forget: that growth is rarely loud. It doesn't always announce itself, and it doesn't always look impressive. In our society, we rush everything: success, healing, progress, even environmental change. We want results. We want them now. We want proof. And we want it now. But nature teaches us a different rhythm. What comes first, branches or roots? Soil prepares before sprouting. And when we have forest fires, it takes years for forests to recover. Slowly, quietly, patiently. And maybe confidence isn't about being bold or loud. Maybe it's only about trusting the unseen work, trusting the process, trusting what's happening beneath the surface, in us, in our communities, and the planet itself. Ariel's patience mirrors the patience required in conservation. It's the same patience required in everyday life. The kind of work that a VAF does is slow, intentional, community rooted. It has reasons. It has purpose. And yes, that doesn't always show results right away anyways, but it builds resilience over time. Today's verse comes from Jeremiah 17:7-8. A passage that speaks beautifully to quiet, rooted confidence. Blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord. They will be like a tree planted by water. It does not fear when heat comes, and its leaves are always green. This verse mirrors Ariel's story. A reminder that confidence isn't noise, it's nourishment. It's roots, it's trust. Just like the tree in Jeremiah, Ariel prepared long before the season changed. And just like that tree, our planet, it needs deep roots, care, stewardship, and patience, especially in a time of climate uncertainty. Fate invites us to trust the process. Nature invites us to respect the pace. Both invite us to grow with confidence, even when the growth is unseen. Before we close, I want to simply remind everyone that like, comment, and share this video. And check the descriptions for all the ways you can support or communicate with us. Ko-fi is where I share creative process, early and unedited videos, behind the scenes work, and reflections connected to conservation and the work of a VAF. It's a slower, more intentional space that focuses on process rather than perfection. Support there helps me create sustainable and avoid burnout, and continue this conservation-centered storytelling. There's never, ever any pressure, and it's simply an option for those who feel called to be a part of the community in a deeper way. As we end today's episode, I invite you to take a moment of stillness, to breathe, and to honor the quiet growth happening in your life. Thank you for spending this time with me. This is Conservation versus Society: Stories, Science, and Faith for a Changing Planet.